What is happening? Come on in. We'll give you a moment. I'm just out and about in the city and thought I would turn on the camera and have a little discussion and conversation with you. So come on in. We'll be right back.
Start your journey today by liking, subscribing, and sharing our YouTube channel, KnowledgeWell Media, or by going to our Square site at knowledgewell-media.square.site and perusing over the available content and information. Also by submitting your email at the bottom of the Square site page in the Stay in the Loop section to receive priority information, specials, and other insider details. Or by signing up for a 1-hour consultation to tailor your specific educational needs in beginning your journey. You may do so at the aforementioned Square site, once again at knowledgewell-media.square.site. Here are a few other items in demand on our Square site. The Person Defined series, a 9-part video lecture series, comprehensively outlining the scheme to artfully deceive mankind into trading away his birthright, his natural liberties, and inherent rights. Pre-orders for The Yellow Bricks of Emerald, the first edition, offered presently as an ebook only. This book comprehensively uncovers the legal schemes, past, present, and future, of the elite powers and the U.S., subjecting American citizens to servitude and allegiance due to their own ignorance. The KnowledgeWell Video Lecture Series Trust Course, a comprehensive lecture series educating on the history, effects, and administration of the wealth-preserving, asset-protecting, private commercial entity known as a trust. Plus, we have our very own template and instructions to help you set up yours. And, coming soon, our apparel and product store for all things KnowledgeWell, including shirts, hats, jackets, cups, bumper stickers, and more. For all this and much, much more, as well as for any questions or comments, email to knowledgewell4u@gmail.com or go to our Square site at knowledgewell-media.square.site. And now, you've been made free. What are you going to do with it?
going on? Well, I ran the intros and I have the commercials and all that kind of thing. I was hoping more people would jump in here, but if nobody's going to jump in, then, you know. But I did have something to talk about. If you want to have a discussion, a conversation, I'm out and about running errands and taking care of personal business and what have you. But I did have things I wanted to share with you. But that is up to the general consensus of the people as to whether they value this time. I know no announcement was made officially, but nonetheless, give a little bit of time for everybody to get on in here if they so choose. Leave a comment. Let me know what state you are hailing from or listening from. And shout out. Make sure that you come in hitting that like button, that thumbs up button, or what have you. And enjoy. As usual, nothing here is to be construed or considered as legal advice. Let me know how the sound is. Please, let me know how the sound is. If you have a problem with any of the quality, just let me know. As you saw, the title is A Change Gon' Come. What do you think about that? A change gonna come. Wanted to discuss, I was on another platform sharing some of my my teachings and my education with another platform. I won't name the platform right now. That's of no consequence. And while participating, there was at least one individual who, had a very strong stance on his viewpoint. I have no problem with that. I have a very strong stand on my viewpoint. And who would take the occasion to issue personal attacks or what have you, which I'm finding that most people who call themselves debating or contending for their viewpoint, I find that that is a behavior that they exhibit. With that being said, I don't agree with it. And I think we must remember what the purpose of what it is that we do as far as education and becoming educated. The purpose is to obtain or attain remedy. All of us perceive that there's more going on than meets the eye, more than that is being reported or transmitted or conveyed to us as the little people, allegedly. And so we are all in this thing to uncover, not to destroy anything, but we're in this to uncover facts that are going to help us in the attainment of more liberties. Remember, we have, according to even the United States Code and the Constitution, we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so there shouldn't be anything that comes in between that's inherent in natural right, those inherent in natural rights. And so that's that's the focus. That is what the focus should be. It is not to tear down the system. It is not to destroy the system, usurp the authority of the standing government, et cetera, et cetera. It should never be about that. As I explained in what I was sharing on this particular platform, you notice in the movies and TV shows and whatever, they're always disclosing things, in The Simpsons or what have you. They're always disclosing things that we usually catch in hindsight, meaning, it might be 10 years down the road and we're like the Matrix, for example, now that we're woke to the scenarios and the situations that they we're discussing and demonstrating. Now the light's on. We're Eureka, right? We get it. Well, that's because someone really knows what is actually going on. And thank you kindly, they have to disclose, okay? They have to always provide us a remedy, okay? Because why does it work that way? It works that way because of the nature of the beast, AKA the system, AKA the legal order, the American jurisprudence. That is the beast. That is one of the beasts. There are many beasts, as the scripture says. But this particular beast that was personified by a serpent was the most cunning, or is the most cunning and crafty beast of all the beasts of the field. So it stands apart, separate and distinct. You will know it. You should know it. Okay. Ignorance of the law is of no excuse. And so, with that being said, um, you know, this system operates under the policies, okay, of equity and law, positive law, man-made law, enactments of a duly authorized legislature. Okay, so they have a book, a scheme that they have to adhere to, and this is why they must disclose. They must always provide you a remedy. They can't just arbitrarily and capriciously inject or create law. There has to be policy behind the laws that they create. There has to be civil procedure behind the laws that they create. Okay. Again, it may, as the gentleman was saying, and I use that term loosely on the platform that I was sharing with yesterday, um, you know, uh, this is a fraudulent system. He was conveying it was fraudulent, that they took the land of the indigenous people, meaning, and what I got from it, he's talking about the so-called black people, African Americans, whatever, and took their land, our land or whatever, and it's fraudulent, it's under fraud, and it's ours, so therefore we should take it back, and et cetera, right? All of these emotional engagements and sentiment, we were debating. And I said to him, kindly and respectfully, what do you plan to do about that? Is your military bigger than the United States military? I just straight out said it. Is your military stronger than the United States military? If it is not, then you may as well sit down and figure out a different way, because you are not going to take over the United States military. So why are you on this platform disenfranchising people or inciting riots or, a more severe civil disobedience? Why are you even wasting the people's time? If you're not going to produce a military that can rival or take out the United States military, then all that hyper vigilant and emotional engagement is for naught. You're just going to cause people to act out in ways that are going to get them hurt. That's it. And so I'm not with that. I teach people to learn the system, to work in the system, to take advantage of the disclosures that they give you as far as remedy. They have to leave you breadcrumbs. Remember the story of Hansel and Gretel, okay? The government always has to leave you remedy. And so a change is going to come. It's going to come. But we have to, first of all, understand there's a stark difference and contrast between an enemy and an opponent. Okay? If you take this thing personal, if you take this legal order and the American jurisprudence seriously or personally, then it will personally or seriously take you. Okay? Now, here at KnowledgeWell Media, I'm going to tell you like it is. Okay? I'm not going to employ or use emotion to try to sell you. I'm going to tell you just how it is. And how it is if you ain't packing up and leaving the United States, if you don't have a military that can rival the United States military, then the only option you have is to learn this game and to play it like a fiddle, like your boy Donald Trump, okay? And Rockefeller and all of the elite and aristocratic families. Why did they succeed where others have failed? They succeeded where others have failed because they took and invested and used the monies and the influence and the power that they obtained through business and what have you, and they reinvested that into education, and then they passed that education onto their next of kin, their progeny. And over the years, each generation got stronger and stronger, and they built a stronger and stronger legacy. Okay? That's how you win this game. Lest ye believe that it's really all about just you in the current paradigm. It is not. It's about your name. Okay? That last name, what they call last name, your family name, is to carry you and your progeny off into the future, into success, whatever the system is. It may not be United States fiat currency in the future. It might be a gold-backed money or dollar or currency. It might be digital currency. Whatever it is, if you want to be relevant in the next paradigm, you must prepare yourself in this one. You must transmit the knowledge, and not only the knowledge, but the estate and the legacy that you are building here. You must send that into the future so that you can build up and levels for your name, for your family, for your legacy. That is the name of the game. Okay? If you feel like it's just all about right now and you know, you're lost about that. You're wrong about that. That is not the point. And so with that being said, this individual again was arguing me, trying to debate me, and trying to emotionally engage me about, again, the colonizers and how they've taken our land and what have you. And we ain't got to ask for nothing back, okay, because it belonged to us in the first place. And again, I said, well, what military are you proposing that you have, that you think you're going to usurp the authority of the colonizers, so-called colonizers in the United States military? Okay, so stop the foolishness, because that ain't the way. You're not going to win that one. You're not going to win that one. So all of the disenfranchised, emotionally engaged, angry people at the United States system, you might as well stop wasting your energy and time, because you're not changing it. So therefore, there is a saying, if you cannot beat them, then you join them. Okay? Now, what does joining them mean? That means figuring out that you are not, in fact, a commercial or legal entity, because the system is geared to enact a legal scheme upon you, okay, that essentially subverts you and changes your status and your condition to that of a debtor. And if you've been around here for any amount of time, you know I've given you the evidence and proof that humans cannot be considered the debtors to the legal order. Only legal or commercial entities can, that have a separate existence in contemplation of the law. And when you hear people say the law, make sure that you know the distinction between the types of law, because you have the two majors. You have positive law, and you have what's known as natural law. All right, natural law governs moral human conduct. I've proven that many times to you. And positive law governs juridical, juristic, and jural persons. Those are particular types of persons in law. These are entities that are created in law. Now, does natural law create jural, juristic, or juridical persons? No. Positive law does. And now you have to ask yourself once again, what is positive law? Positive law is the enactments of a duly authorized legislature. In other words, a legislative body of men and women. It is man-made law, aka statutes. Statutes were never intended, and I'm actually working on a declaratory judgment right now that will be a lawsuit against the state attorney general. for basically administering and enforcing uh, what was known as positive law codes against myself, right? Unlawfully subverting me and conflating me with a legal entity and artificial person. You don't know that you're not an artificial person? Have they convinced you that they've cloned Tyrone and that that is in fact you? You can be a legal entity or an artificial person. So you walk around here with your head hung down and in major and uber debt when you're not even supposed to be indebted to the system. This is why legal corporations are created. This is what the intent of the legislature, the Congress, under the Commerce Clause, this is what the intent was by the founding fathers, was to afford each of the incorporating members of the United States and in the state that you reside. This was their purpose and intent behind this whole system, was to afford each of the incorporating members. At that time, it was merely the colonizers, the founding fathers and their ilk, right? They wanted to be insulated while they formed the Union and all kinds of commerce and trade were going on. They wanted to insulate themselves from personal individual liability, meaning I'll play in this game of Monopoly, but I want everyone that is cooperating here to realize that this does not affect my personal stuff that I had before I sat down at this table to play the game. That's known as a corporate veil. That affords a corporate personhood. Roblox family is here. Thank you for being here from Boston, Massachusetts. Sound out. I haven't seen anybody else post the state that they are listening from. I'll wait. I'm dropping bombs here. A change is going to come. Oh, yes, it will. But I'll just tell you, I'll get off that soapbox for just a moment here and just tell you, I'm so tired. I won't say sick, because I don't believe in speaking that into existence. But I'm so tired of these wannabes out here. These wannabes that are using stolen, I'll say, information, right? They're using it for their own game and their own profit, and they're not properly basically acknowledging the teachings, the hard work and things that people are doing. Okay, but they're using information to profit and to bolster themselves and to grow themselves in the eyes of the public and in the eyes of the people. And you don't have anything coming. You don't have anything coming. You can't steal from people. You can't do that and think that you're going to receive honor and what have you. You may have your cookies and your cake in the moment, but your empire will crumble because you're not being honorable. And those people know who I'm talking to, because that's not the way you do things. You're supposed to give honor to whom honor is due. All right. So you know who you are. But the point of the matter is, is that the legal order, it has to be respected. It has to be honored. And that is merely because they are the conquering military. Whether you like it or not is a whole different discussion. It doesn't matter whether you like it. What are you going to do? If you do not have a subsequent military or comparable military to take back your country, then the only thing left to do is to figure out, how they say, if you can't beat them, join them. That's all you have left. So we're going to need to learn this system. We need to learn the ins and outs of it. And then we need to realize that they always must afford remedy. I was talking to someone the other day and I was explaining to them that, don't you know that the United States is under the scrutiny of the rest of the world and the international bodies that regulate international human rights? Don't you know that the United States has been sued at least 3 times and they lost the lawsuit when it goes to a violation of human rights? Do you know that? Google it. Yes, the United States was sued and lost for violation of for human rights violations. They lost. lest you believe that the United States is just arbitrarily out here and they don't have any accountability. Oh, yes, they do. The problem, see, the problem is that the United States citizen, inclusive of the American citizen, which is distinguishable, don't realize that it's not just about the United States and its, jurisdiction. And when you can't see, I'll use the analogy of a chess game, right? The two people, the opponents that are engrossed in the game, they may fail to see moves that someone, a third party on the outside, can see. You ever had somebody standing over your game and saying, "Man, you should have made that move. You should." That's why, because they can see objectively both sides, both moves, okay, or what move should have been made, okay. Whereas you are only concerned about your one move and trying to win the game, okay. And that's what's happening in the United States. People don't realize that there is a greater accountability that the United States have. And therefore, we just think we're stuck here and we're just dealing with this. And our government, whether you like it or love it or hate it, can do whatever they want to do. That's not the fact. That's not the truth. Okay. But I will say this. No other country or international organization or body is going to step in because they cannot basically impair the obligation of a contract. What I mean by that is, if you step in it, that's on you. If you sign up for it, you're by yourself. Can't nobody come to your rescue, because all the United States is going to say is, hey, they are members. They signed up and became members. What are you going to tell us that we cannot do with our own members? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Greetings to you, Abdallah 722. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Philadelphia. Thank you for signing out or signing off. Where are the rest of y'all at? And nobody else put your state. Let me know where you're listening from. Appreciate you all for being here, for supporting, just having a candid conversation. So I guess the point is, we have no room to be operating out of anger at the system. That is not the move. It's not going to work. It's not going to bring you anything profitable. They're not going to change their game, and you don't have a big enough military to try and take them out. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Are you still going to stand around waiting against the standing there with your arms folded and stuff? Are you still, is that what you're going to live your entire life like that and then try to teach your children to live that way? Or are you going to stand up and do something about it? Are you going to administer and manage your own estate and your own affairs so that you're not construed as legally incompetent or a ward of the state? That should be the consideration. There is no magic ticket in the way of what they call immunity through a passport, sovereign immunity, all that kind of stuff. These people were still, this individual that I was debating with last night is still talking about we're sovereign. And I ain't got to ask nothing, because we were here before the colonizers came, and therefore we are sovereign. And then he wanted to say, I showed him 8 U.S.C. section 1481, revised statute 1999, where it talks about our right to expatriate. Okay, our right to expatriate is a natural and inherent right, meaning you can pick up and leave any nation, your nativity, at any point in time, and nobody is supposed, no state officer or whatever, especially of the United States, is supposed to even question that right. If they do, it says that that is inconsistent with the republic. Okay, so that's how powerful that right is. They're not even supposed to question your right to pick up and leave if you so choose. Okay, and then there was another part in there that states that the United States government recognizes your right to do so. And then it says, because they have recognized your right to expatriate, right, as a natural inherent right, they said that because of that, they have freely received immigrants, listen, from all nations. Now, you got to ask yourself a question: which nations are they referring to? They received immigrants, meaning people that defected, meaning people that expatriated away from their origins. So let's just say it like this. This individual I was debating with yesterday is claiming that Black people, African Americans, Negroes, whatever you want to say, okay, that's not important right now with the title. The point is what is to be made. This individual was saying that since we are the indigenous here on this soil, the geographical territorial, okay, of known as the Americas, right, that we are sovereign. Now, in this particular passage that I'm citing from, 8 U.S.C. Section 1481, Revised Statute 1999, it states that the United States has freely received immigrants. Listen, this is so key. This is so key. Freely received immigrants, people who left the Americas. I'm going to show you. I'll prove it to you. I'll try to pull it up. But listen, it says, freely received immigrants from all nations. What nations do you think that this code is talking about? Do you not know that the Americas originally constitutes, I should say, Canada, Mexico, all the islands and all that kind of stuff in the Americas, North and South America. That is the Americas. Well, every piece of the Americas are an individual sovereign nation. We're all considered Americans. All North, South America, and the islands and all that kind of stuff. All of that is considered Americas. Therefore, all of the citizens are considered American citizens. So now look at 8 U.S.C. Section 1481, Revised Statute 1999. When it says that the United States recognizes all of those citizens, all the American citizens' rights to defect or expatriate from their origin. Meaning some of us are Canadian, some of us are Mexican. And then, not to mention, each of the states in the Union are sovereign nation states. So some of us are Texans. That's the nation you came from. Some of us are Wisconsinites. Some of us are Illinoisans. I think that's the right term, phrase, word. Those are all nation states. So now look at 8 U.S.C. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. I don't know if I can. I'm on my cell phone. I don't want to mess something up. USC Section 1481. You got to go into the notes section. I don't know if I can do it. I don't want to mess anything up. Y'all know I've done it before, so you know I'm not just making stuff up. I mean, I'll try one time. Let me see if I can do it. I don't want to mess anything up. Yeah, I don't want to mess anything up. It's much different when you're on the phone. All right. So anyways, look it up and you'll see for yourself. It says that the United States, in recognition of the right for you to expatriate from your nation. So that means you literally, check this out, back in the day, way back, the Texans, before joining the unions or whatever, that were not maybe considered Texans, but they were in that geographical area, let's say. Okay. Better yet, let's make it more. Let's put it in context and let's make it more
easy to understand. Remember the 13 colonies. Okay, there were 13 colonies, you know, Connecticut and all that kind of stuff, right? What this 8 USC is telling us is that those 13 colonies at one point in time were sovereign states prior to incorporating into the new United States of America, where they formed the, they formed a confederacy and the Union. Prior to that, they were sovereign themselves. Each of the colonies, they were actually battling with each other and at war with each other, and they were having problems exchanging currency and doing trade and commerce. That's why the Federalist Papers and Hamilton, that's what he was pushing for the to form the Confederacy, so everybody unionized and worked together so that trade could be accomplished between the 13 colonies. Okay. And so now you got, but prior to that, you had separate nation states. And what 8 USC section 1481 is telling us is that the people started to defect and expatriate from Massachusetts into the United States. And the colony, whoever was running the colony, let's say of Massachusetts, right? Whatever the original 13, started to complain, and they started to nearly go to blows and war because they were saying, wait a minute, these are our citizens. And the United States is stealing our citizens. Okay? And so 8 USC does a great job of stating that in this Declaration Proclamation of 8 USC section 1481, that the United States government said that in order to keep the peace and to keep commerce and trade going, we recognize everyone's right to come here to the United States and expatriate from their own nation, to waive the rights and liberties that they once had under their sovereign nation state, and to come in and receive civil rights and political rights from the United States. They made a declaration and they said, in order to keep the peace and to keep commerce and trade flowing and going, nobody may deprive a person of their right to expatriate. That's what happened. That's what 8 USC section 1481 is all about. And it goes on to state in that same statute, or revised statute, that these were American citizens that this code was referring to, because these were citizens from all over the Americas. What does that let us know? It goes on to say that not only did all of these American citizens defect, expatriate, and come into the United States and take on civil and political rights, and therefore waive their individual liberties or whatever rights, personal individual rights that they had in their nation state. Not only that, but it says that they also brought their descendants. So you wonder why, you know, so many people are making a claim, I never signed a contract to be part of this system. I never elected to do this. It was against my will. I didn't make the choice. My mother and my parents did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. But guess what? You never left, did you? You're still here today. So that is an implication and an inference that you are still in compliance, that you are still alleged to the decision and aligned with the decision that your forefathers and forefathers made when they expatriated away from the Americas way back when. You see how that works? And in fact, the type of agreement that citizens have being here is called an implied agreement. It's a social compact, which is an implied agreement, meaning it's an agreement based upon the implications and the inferences that you are still here and that you are still a part of this system. So, going back to the discussion with the gentleman that wanted to debate me about whose land this is and how this is, we're here by fraud and all of that. No, no. You're here and still considered part of this system because you have not left. It is implied and inferred. And in fact, you can get a passport virtually at any point in time you want to and leave here and never come back. And then you will build the inference or implication that the contract is null and void. You can take up citizenship elsewhere, or you can even have dual citizenship. See, the fact is you haven't done anything about it. You haven't done anything to break the inference or implication that you are in alignment or alleged with this system. And therefore, to stand here in the courts of the United States or stand here in an executive or administrative office and try to write a piece of paper when you simply can pick up and leave, they just see you. I've heard someone say that they basically said that you got buyer's remorse, meaning you paid for it, you bought it, you handpicked it out, and now after the warranty stage, you want to come back and complain. Look up buyer's remorse. But anyways, I digress. And so now, hopefully, you're picking up what I'm putting down, and hopefully you get it. Anger is not going to cut it. It's not going to fix anything, because it's by implication that they presume that you are still part. Because if you didn't want to be part, you would have left. So guess what? Since you didn't leave, let's talk remedy. Since you didn't leave, since you are still here, since you are still raising your children here, since you are still part of the public school system, since you are still, contracting every day, since you're still here, you may as well learn the system. That's what I'm educating people to do. Learn the system and beat them at the game. Is it possible? I don't know. Ask Donald Trump. It seems like the whole system is after him, but he certainly has beat the game in the way of taxes, pissing people off and stuff, ain't he? Right? What about your boy, Rockefeller? He was part of the system. He beat the system, didn't he? Tesla dude, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, part of the system. But are they subject to it, or are they mastering it? That's the question. I'm going to the comment section here. Roblox family asked the question: who controls the country, the government or the banking industry? Well, I'm glad you asked that question in two parts like that, or not in two parts, but two considerations, because that's very key and very important. Okay. You have the country, or excuse me, you have the government, which is an inanimate object. The government doesn't have hands, legs, eyes, etc., right? The government doesn't have that. The government's an inanimate object. It's an artifice. It's fictional. So how can it control anything? Who, in fact, are the ones controlling things? It can't be the government, because the government is not real. It's an ideology of man. It's a legal construction and a contrivance. Now, the other part of your question, or the banking industry. Well, the bankers, right? What makes the world go round? Currencies, monies, et cetera, right? I mean, that should answer your question. It ain't the government. And in fact, we the people instituted the governments. So I highly doubt the people want the government to, you know, necessarily control the world. We don't like that idea. Most people like small government. But guess who would like big government? Probably the banking industries and the cartels and all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, because then they can lobby, they can buy them out. You see? So probably the industries which control the governments through you know, racketeering and all kind of RICO and all kinds of things like that, right? It's really the people behind it. They hit what they call the hidden hand, et cetera, right? That's really the issue. It's not government. That's why I try and teach people. We got to stop villainizing our own government. We put it together. The problem is it's gotten out of hand. Why? Because the industry is behind it. When big business and big government come together, then you start getting into fascism, communism, et cetera, socialism, communism, you know, all that kind of stuff. Not necessarily socialism, I don't think, but communism. That's what happens. Big business starts to run the government. Or in the case of Rockefeller, they merely beat the government and the people to regulation. They beat you to regulation. They institute things. They get in, make their trillions or billions, and then regulation comes late in the game, and they've already amassed great wealth. By the time you even put a law on the books regulating the practices that they are using. In Rockefeller's case, he established the first trust, Standard Oil Company, in the United States in 1882. Quickly got in before the people really figured out that he was cornering the market, creating uncompetitive markets and what have you, owning it all, cornering the market, right? Forming, what do they call, monopolies? Yeah, he got away with doing that for so many years, but I think it was like 8 years, and amassed much wealth, owning most of the oil companies, and then he went into trains, railroad. That's how he became the wealthiest man, I contend, that ever lived, and I contend that it has not stopped. His family still owns a great percentage of most all of the oil companies and the railroads. That's why they say knowledge is power. On the flip side, you're destroyed for the lack of it. Hopefully that answers your question, Roblox. Only 4 people here. Because you know what I'm finding? People really aren't wanting remedy. People aren't really wanting remedy. People like to hear things. They have itching ears. People ain't. I've been doing this for quite a while. I've been, 2022 the year of remedy, 2023 the year of application. You know how many people have actually jumped on board and said, "Let's go. I'm with you. Let's go. Let's do this all together. Let's come together." You know how many people? Out of let's say 5 years. Well, no, 8 years. You know how many people? Not more than a couple. So, you know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. That's not going to stop me from applying. That's not going to stop me from doing what I'm doing. But, half the gurus are just in it for the money or the prestige, notoriety, the clicks. And then the people, the so-called clients and people, they're content with merely watching a YouTube deliberation or lecture, and then they'll watch it for 8 hours or whatever, and then they'll shut it off and go on about their business, forgetting everything that they learned. No, some of them write it down, but that's as far as it goes. So if people really wanted, remedy and wanted to apply it and wanted to really change things, I'd have a whole lot more than 3 people here right now, for one. For two, I'd have a whole lot more support because people would be interested in moving this thing forward. So it's very disappointing. Again, it's not going to stop me. I'm going to do what I do for me and mine. But it's very disappointing and disheartening because I want to believe that people want to do stuff. They want to get this thing done. They want to move on, want to move forward. But, lo and behold, after they come through here and grab a little tidbit, they're going to jump over to somebody else's channel and grab a little tidbit. Then they're going to jump over to somebody. And you're just, I always said that too much knowledge is like too much light. Too much light. Light is meant to complement, to light the way, illuminate, right? Bring understanding and what have you. But when it becomes harmful is when you've been in darkness for so long and somebody turns on a super bright light without a dimmer switch, as it were, and shines it right in your face. So that same light that would help you otherwise see can also blind you. So too much knowledge is like too much light. And so this is what I contend is one of the greatest problems with our demographic and the people that claim that they want remedy, claim that they want a status change and correction, but it's not necessarily evident. It's not necessarily truth. What people want is to be inundated with information. That's what I'm finding. And that's why you come back broken. That's why you're heavy laden and disenfranchised, and you've paid out lots and lots of fiat currency to someone, made them rich, because all you wanted was information. I remember being back in church, and they used to complain about what they called church hoppers. I don't know if you know what that term suggests, but basically it is that you have just itching ears. You want to jump from one church. Some people go from on a Sunday, go from one church to the next church to the next church to the next church because what you like that pump. You like that endorphin release. You get hooked on that. You're not getting hooked on truth. You're not getting hooked on remedy, fixing your issue, but you just have this idea that if I can just stay in church all Sunday long, like a junkie, like a crackhead, that I can keep this feeling, this high that I have. So you just got to stay in church. Anytime the church door open, you got to be there. Well, that's how cats are today in the YouTube world, claiming that they want remedy, claiming that they want answers so that they can apply and, correct their status and what have you. But that's not necessarily truth, is it? You just want to be pumped up. You just like that feeling you get. Ooh, for real? That can happen for real? All I gotta do is fill out an OID, 1099. All I gotta do is look at the Fidelity website and see how much they're making off my birth certificate. How come nobody's paying attention to the fact that none of these processes have produced anybody worthwhile? Not a one of them. Not a one. Not a one. You show me anybody. Because that's not what it's about. That is merely trying to basically overthrow the current system. You're trying to act as if you're a financial banker, and you're not by law. You're not recognized by law as a financial institution or a banker. Therefore, you have no business using those forms. Read the instructions. Don't listen to your local guru Read the instructions for yourself. Go over them yourself. I'm not saying there aren't forms, you know, that you can use. Form 56, yes, that's to announce your capacity as fiduciary. Okay, and I'm not saying that all of the forms. I'm just saying that things are being uh, put in the wrong context. They're not being explained properly. And not only that, but most of those forms you shouldn't be touching or using until you have properly had a declaration of your proper status and standing. How the hell are you going to administer the trust, allegedly administer the trust, right? How are you going to do that if you have not been recognized in law through a court order or judgment as being the trustee or even the custodian of the trust? What, you think you can just pop up and designate yourself as somebody's trustee just because you say so? You do realize what the legal order is, right? The legal order, American jurisprudence. You didn't write that. You didn't write that. How you gonna take over somebody else's? How are you gonna claim the name, quote unquote, claim the name? You thought that was your name that they're talking about? Do you know the difference between the given name and family name? I'm sorry, the given name and the legal name. Do you know the difference? You should by now, because I've gone over it at length here. Your property, personally, is your given name and family name. You don't have ownership over the legal order or the legal instrumentalities of state. You can't own that. It's not yours. The legal name is not yours. You can't do whatever you want with the legal name. It's not yours. Legal suggests governmental or public. How are you going to commingle or conflate public and private? You're making a private declaration saying that you have these rights to travel and all this garbage, but then you're going to try to own or make claim to a public instrumentality, aka the legal name. You got it twisted. You got it twisted. And then you're going to fraudulently claim or lien somebody else's property. Now, if that entity owes you something and you can demonstrate a debt that is owed, a security interest, that's a different story. Because the workman is worthy of his hire. And if you are working on behalf of that legal entity, then you should be compensated and paid for it. Because it does belong to the state. And therefore, you are doing that entity a favor, and by proxy, you are doing the state a favor. That's why you get things like tax write-offs and all that kind of stuff. Or you can claim write-offs or whatever, you know. But a change is going to come. It is going to come. But it's not going to come to the many, the most. Because the most merely want to be entertained and informed about ideologies, further ideologies of men. That's all they want. When people really want to get down to what they call the brass tacks of the issue, when people really want to see change and make change, we'll stop jumping, church hopping, jumping from guru to guru. We'll find one that is well versed and can prove things in law as opposed to mere conjecture. All I'm hearing is mere conjecture out here. I go through the gambit of all of these so-called gurus, and it's merely talk. It's merely talk. It's merely an idea. And these same gurus are saying, check everybody's information. These same gurus are claiming that somebody is taking their ideas and using them and not giving credit to where credit is due, but they're doing exactly that. Hypocrites. Hypocrites. And so, with that being said, I don't mind staying here. I don't mind having the few to work with. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all. But what I'm gonna say is, what I'm gonna say is that if I'm going to work with a few, we're going to make things happen. I'm not interested in, yes, I'm an educator, right? I do my due diligence, right? I have talks like this, but this is not my teaching style. This is not, when we in the studio and when I can have my hands free, we're at the whiteboard and I'm opening books and I'm pulling up things that you can see and read for yourself. Okay? That's my style of teaching. You don't even have to ask me to prove what I'm saying, because I specialize in making sure I hold myself to a higher standard to prove those things that I speak. Okay? And again, if your local guru isn't doing that, you're merely wasting your time. Anybody can sit and talk, but if what they're telling you, I'm gonna give you the notes again. How do you check? If what they are stating or claiming has no legal authority behind it, it ain't going anywhere. If you ask them to define certain words and terminologies and they cannot do that without having to necessarily go and research it first, then that tells you they didn't do their due diligence prior to trying to persuade you about a process. You better come confident and you better come with the law. There is nothing outside of the law that you can use to get recognition by the law. I said it. And if anybody wants to challenge me on that, let's go. You're not going to write up your own procedures, affidavits included, because affidavits don't stand necessarily by themselves. All they're going to do is tell you that we don't have any legal basis to recognize your affidavit. Because when it comes down to whomever you're submitting those affidavits to, what do you think? They're going to listen to you and the words and the claims that you make over the legislature? So save your hands, save your writings, your typings, and your fancy thumbprints and all that kind of stuff. I came from that school too, because you're wasting your time. If it does not have a legally protectable interest or claim, it's a waste of your time. Okay? Live life claims, treasury direct accounts, explanatory statements, passport applications. You don't have a legally protectable interest to claim that you are foreign to the United States as a United States citizen or living on in the United States. How can you have that? Why would they provide you documentation so that you can fill out one day to allegedly be foreign to the very individuals that you are presumed to be in obeyance to. How does that make sense? Why would the foreign department kick their own self in the private? In their private. Why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense. A juror society, aka a state, only functions and only has relevance if they have citizens. Now, again, as we stated in the beginning, you absolutely have a natural and inherent right to expatriate. You absolutely do. You absolutely do. But even in doing that, you're going to do it in accordance with the legal order. They have a process for that. If you go any other way or try it any other way, they're merely going to say that you don't have a legally protectable interest nor a claim in law that we have to recognize your declarations or what have you, whatever policy that you've established. It cannot hold weight. It cannot be recognized by the executive departments, the judiciary. It cannot be recognized because it is not in accordance with positive law. I'll say it because ain't nobody else gonna tell you. So keep on chasing from guru to guru. I promise you're gonna get 100 more processes. And they're gonna be so similar to what you heard from the last channel you were at. You know why? Because you thought you were the first one jumping from channel to channel. Each one of them are getting a piece of somebody else's process, and what they're doing is they're capitalizing on it. They're just taking a little snippet from this and a little snippet of that, and they're trying to create their own creature. And then they try to sell that to you. And you buy it. Fine. If that's what you're in the game for, have fun. You're never gonna run out of processes. I can assure you of that. Look at the comment section here. Carissa says, "Hey, welcome, Carissa. Thank you for being here." Hello. Always best to do your own due diligence. Gurus can't save you from reading. No, you want to know what's going on in our demographic of the truthers, whatever we're known as now. You know what's happening? It's depicted in the scriptures. What does the scripture say about the Antichrist in the end times? Many. There will be many Christs. You know what Christ denotes and connotes? Saviors. That's what a guru is supposed to be, a savior. Antichrist. They all appear to be Christ, but they're not. You picking up what I'm putting down? Do yourself a favor. Find one, stick with one. Exhaust that one. If you feel that the breadcrumbs that they are dropping are actually leading you, or the pathway is actually gold bricks, which leads you to Emerald City, if you believe that, stay there. Do not become indoctrinated or double-minded by going from this one to this one and mixing their teachings. You're doing yourself a disservice. You're wasting your time and energy, and it's causing confusion. Confusion. Con is the Latin for together, and fusion is what happens when two pieces of metal are heated to a point at which they melt. That's what's happening to you in your mind, and that is why you become disenfranchised, and that is why you become impatient, and that is why you kick yourself for burning through your hard-earned capital that you could be using elsewhere, because you become confused. Your brain, your mind, has become fused together under much heat and frustration. That's confusion. That's what happens. A double-minded man is unstable, as the scripture says, in all their ways, meaning you should not have division. Die meaning two. You should have a single vision. But when you're jumping from what did mama used to tell you? I don't care what's happening in their house. But what happens here stays here in my house. And you are my child. You don't have a division. You are obeying and listening to me. That's unit vision, one vision. Why is that important? Lest you become confused, because see, over there, their parents might allow them to smack them and hit them back. But you try and hit me back, I'm your mama. I don't play those games. You see, you get the vision. Don't be divided. Do what Randy and Sarah's mom let them do. No. You better have one vision. That's mama's vision, or you're going to get knocked out. Boy, oh boy. So likewise here, okay? You're welcome here, whatever. But I'm not dancing with these people, man. I'm starting to see what's really going on out there. You know, I try to share a piece of, you know, these nuggets that I get and all that kind of stuff, but it's not appreciated over in those other channels. Because as I stated before, a lot of them merely want to be right. They don't want to be righteous. Let me say that again. There's a difference and a distinction. Do you know? A lot of these people, these gurus, these so-called teachers want to be right, but they don't care about being righteous. Do you know the difference? Thank you, Carissa. Going forward. Carissa says, selling folks' dreams more so than ever. Because everybody is desperate. I was telling my mom earlier. And let me just put this out there since the universe wants me to speak on it. Ladies, women, single women with children, what have you. Be careful in this day and age. Do you know how desperate individuals are, especially men that are out of work? I'm going to tell you something. There was a pastor lady. I don't know who I'm speaking to, but the universe is trying to say something to you. You better listen. There was a pastor lady. She was in her 70s, late 70s. And she took her grandson in. Her grandson, mind you. She knew he was on drugs, but she wanted to help him. She wanted to, you know, encourage him. She's a pastor. So she took him in. Do you know that he murdered his own grandmother and robbed her? Put a bag over her head and duct taped it and bound her hands behind her chair. I knew this lady. Be careful, ladies. Okay? Stop trusting everybody. I know you need some odds and ends done, but you got to understand that these are desperate times. Okay? I don't know who I'm talking to, but please pay attention. Okay? Don't trust everybody. I don't know where that came from. Somebody better listen. Roblox family says, can a mortgage be paid with a promissory note? See, here, okay. I'm not mad at you for asking that question, okay? The probable answer is yes, okay? The question is, can the average individual do this? Or should the average individual try to pay their mortgage with a promissory note? I have to ask you a question. Are you a financial institution? Are you even considered or can be construed as a financial institution? Because if you check in the IRS and what have you, they're going to say that this is how financial institutions, meaning legally recognized banks, FDI insured, etc., have the power to do this. Let's ask ourselves a question. Let's use and employ rational analysis. If you're 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, How many people do you know of that have paid their bills back in the day with promissory notes? Then why in 2023 do you think that this system is going to allow the average individual to pay off a mortgage and what have you with a promissory note? I'm not talking directly to you, Roblox. I'm just speaking in general. See, we've been disenfranchised. We've gotten desperate. And therefore, we're apt to try all different things. But don't you know that it was a guru that came up with that idea? And that same guru has probably passed away. And ain't nobody got remedy doing it. In fact, they got jail time, and not only jail time, but more than likely federal time. Some of us don't even know how this system functions. Why would you be trying to use documentation that is expressly and explicitly for financial institutions? These are people that have become licensed. These are Federal Reserve bankers. These are upper echelon aristocratic families and elitists that actually wrote the book on banking. What qualifications do we have to be using those things? Think about it. We're on the very basic level of just trying to figure out who we are. We don't have a monopoly on this system. I don't even know all the functionalities of a banking institution and financial institution in the United States or under the legal order, with all the knowledge I have. So why would I be using these instrumentalities that are only meant as to be used as instrumentalities to transact between these Federal Reserve banks and their subdivisions and what have you? That is not our place. When you graduate and you learn trusts, you know, when you learn modern money mechanics, accounting principles, what is that, GAAP, general acceptable accounting principles? How many have even touched that book? How many have even touched the book Modern Money Mechanics? Then what do we know about this stuff? Keep it simple. Keep it simple. If you don't know how to do trust, you dang sure shouldn't be. If you don't know how to set up, establish, administer, manage your trust for a good year or two to bring it up to profitability, because you're supposed to be doing investments and whatever, just like those brokers are doing with your 401k. You're supposed to be doing that. If you establish a trust and you're the trustee of that trust, you're supposed to be managing the assets and you're supposed to be growing them. If you haven't got that concept, what the hell makes you think that you can go and interlope into the banking system of the United States and do what the big dogs do? If you can't even do it on a micro level in administering and managing your own affairs in the state. Come on, man. Bring in people. Bring these ignorant fools. Bring them. Have them debate with me. A promissory note. Really? I want to see their trust in operation. I want to see that they took their trust from thousands to six figures to $1 million. I want to see that. Because until they've done that and demonstrated that they can administer and manage their own private individual trusts, how the hell are you doing what are you doing in the United States system, which is the large public trust, and you think you're trading in promissory notes and financial papers? Half these cats ain't even taken a car loan out before. And if they have, they probably defaulted. Yeah, I said it. Now say it again. I'm just saying, man. Ain't y'all sick of this? Ain't y'all sick of this? Ain't you sick of wasting your time? I tell you what. If you're sick of wasting your time, give me a little bit. Give me a little bit of your time. Give me a little bit of your time. If you're sick of wasting your time, give me a little bit of your time. If I don't come through, if I don't deliver, then put me right in the category with everybody else. How's that? What does give me a little bit of your time look like? That means you will make every single meeting. We will schedule Zoom meetings. We will make it an internal group. In fact, no, we already have our own internal group known as Patreon. We will schedule regular meetings once or twice a week, and we will start at A and go to Z. And I'm willing to put it on the line, meaning that if we don't produce through trusts, estate planning, remedy in the way of a status declaration by the court, by court order. Now, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that everybody will qualify. Why do I say that? Because I don't know what your individual situations are. I don't know if you're running from the law. I don't know if you've done some things where you are scrutinized or red flagged by the law. So I'm not guaranteeing you anything in the way of every process that we present here at KnowledgeWell Media will work for you. I don't know what you've done. But what I will guarantee absolutely, as long as I'm still breathing, is that the education you get here will be unparalleled. It will make sense, and it will be backed by law. Therefore, you will find that you can make a competent claim in the courts or otherwise, guaranteeing you have a legally protectable interest. And they cannot refute that. That's what I would guarantee here through KnowledgeWell Media. If you're interested in taking me up on this offer, if you want to make me dance, come on. The only thing I ask is that you do not necessarily disclose with all those other fish out there, right? Because we have to keep it, somewhat proprietary. We don't want this power going into someone else's hands that will use it erroneously. And then they dilute, the system that we establish. That's all I would ask. If you're up for that, let's do it. KnowledgeWell Media. Hit me up if you are interested. KnowledgeWell4u@gmail.com. I'll put it up on the screen. I think it should be it. I'll put it up on the screen. So if you want to take me at that challenge, since otherwise I'm just running my mouth, there you go. Hit me up this week on that, and we'll get it going. And then we'll make the distinction between KnowledgeWell Media and every other platform, because I'm tired of it. Quite frankly, I'm tired of hearing mouths running and producing nothing. I'm tired of hearing people complain that, this guru told me this and this one told me this. I lost all this money. I have nothing to show for it. What is truth? What is fiction? Quite frankly, I'm tired of it. If you're tired of it, I've made the proposition. Now you can come and check me out. If we don't produce, put me in the same category and push on. But I think you already know the type of teaching and education you get here that will be fact-based. It already is fact-based, and it is backed by law. No conjecture here. Not selling ice to an Eskimo, not selling you promises, broken promises. Everything must be fact-based. Everything, and by fact-based, that means it has actual recognition within the legal order. So they cannot deny their own stuff. That's what I mean by that. Fact-based. Okay? If you are interested, hit me up at knowledgewell4u@gmail.com. Come and see, as the scripture says, test these things to see if they are so. There's the challenge. All you got to do is prove me wrong. And I will happily bow out. Happily. I'll be done. If I can't back up what I'm saying, I'm done. I'm done. Because my whole purpose of being here is defeated. I'll be on something else. If you're interested, once again, hit me up at knowledgewell4u@gmail.com. Now, that will necessitate that you join us at our Patreon. First of all, hit me up at knowledgewell4u@gmail.com. Express that you are interested in taking me up on the challenge. That is trust. We will get your trust established. And we're not doing no freaking foreign trust. It's not happening. We've learned our lesson. You don't want to be foreign to the United States just to avoid taxes. It's not necessary. We have United States instrumentalities such as corporations and trusts and what have you that mitigate and significantly lower, ask Donald Trump, your taxes. You don't have to be foreign to the United States to do that. And in fact, trying to be foreign to the United States merely makes your pursuit more difficult. Why? Because you're going to find, as most of you have, you try and go open a bank account with something that is foreign to the United States, that United States industry or agency does not have to recognize it. So you walk out of the door with all of your papers and affidavits, wondering what the heck to do next. How do I know that? Because I've been there. Somebody else told me, get a foreign EIN, get a foreign trust, etc., etc. Now here I am, a rookie, inexperienced, etc., etc., not even knowing much about trust, and here I'm going up to a bank to open an account with a foreign EIN number and a foreign trust. See how they got us? I was guilty. I was guilty. But I can fix that. That's what I'm doing now. So if you are interested, again, hit me up at KnowledgeWell, the number 4, the letter U @gmail.com. You must also join us at our Patreon, because that's where we will be doing our in-house exclusive uploads and lives for the group that has determined that they are done bouncing from house to house, guru to guru, message to message, process to process. What we're going to do is we are going to examine and find, as I've done for the most part already, the laws, the protectable interest, the legally protectable interest that allow us to navigate this system. The proper way, where we walk in, we're going to walk in respectably and respectfully into American institutions, and they're going to actually want our business. That's what I'm saying. They will revere you for your prowess, for your information. That's what I'm proposing. They will want to do business with your trust because it's in good standing. It has great credit ratings. That's what I'm proposing. If you are interested, knowledgewell4u@gmail.com. Also go and join us over at the Patreon, because that's where we will be dropping it. So I will bifurcate the information. I will continue to do my Sunday afternoon lives, which will be to the general populace. But the Patreon will be exclusively for the members. And there we will be meticulously and methodically, starting from A to Z. We are not just teaching, we will be enacting, we will be administering. There you can ask your your questions while applying, meaning we've established, let's say we established a trust, we picked the name, we got you we created the separate entity of the trust, We established, you as the trustee of the trust, so therefore you report that you are the fiduciary for the trust, et cetera, for tax purposes. And we can actually be doing these things from each class. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Oh yeah, we're gonna walk step by step with you, not drop a 30 or 40 page packet on your lap and leave you to yourself. That's what we're going to do here. If you are interested, once again, KnowledgeWell, the number 4, the letter U, at gmail.com. You will also, once again, have to join us at our Patreon, because that's where we will drop it like it's hot, because it is hot. Not only trust, but we will also have a court order. We will apply or petition for a declaratory judgment where the court will liberally construe your petition. They have to. It's in the law. They have to liberally construe it, meaning they can't be nitpicking it apart, because it states that you have a right to have your status declared. Okay, I'm just saying. Keep playing, or you can go back to Egypt. Guru to guru, confused, spinning your wheels. Why not? You've been doing it for 5 years now already. Keep spinning them. Not here, baby, not here. Let's make the distinction between here, KnowledgeWell Media, and other places. I don't need 100 people. I just need several dedicated and committed and are ready to go to work. That's all I need. Looking at the comment section. Marissa, you ain't taking it easy on them, are you? Baby Production says, study what they show you. Check their math, or you'll most likely end up getting fleeced. Exactly. It all sounds good. Carissa says false prophets. Kimberly's in the house. What up, sis? Long time no hear from. Baby Production says, or worse, you end up doing processes that you don't know why you're doing it, and when someone challenges it, you have no response. Yeah, I've been there. Roblox said, this is why I'm still here, ready to move on with the next steps in my process. All right, awesome. You know how to reach out, KnowledgeWell, the number 4, the letter U, at gmail.com. If you've already started a process or what have you, let's discuss moving forward. It's still in trust. That is magic. However, we're not going to complicate or super complicate the issue. You don't need a complicated legal or commercial entity. Something very basic and simple. It does not have to be foreign to the United States. We've learned that. Okay. You have to know the principles and concepts of the trust and what you can profit and what you can grow from it. Okay. Assets, et cetera, et cetera. We can discuss more of that. Make sure you get on over to the Patreon and become a member. I would say we are going to I'm going to wait till I have at least 5 individuals. I don't need 100. I'll wait till we have at least 5 people committed. I already have my Patreon subscribers. They're already in. They're already committed. They've been with me. And so I will be looking for at least 5 more to get going on our courses. And we will start from A, and we will go all the way to Z. And the most important thing is to receive legal recognition by the law of your proper status and standing. That's what we're looking for. And I do have the way legally to do it. Okay. That's what we're doing here. We're going to make the distinction between ourselves, KnowledgeWell Media, and every other platform. That's what time it is now. It's time to divide the wheat from the chaff. It's time to hone in the nuggets instead of casting our pearls, our KnowledgeWellian pearls, to the swine, because there are people near and far to KnowledgeWell Media and myself who are merely robbing and taking the food for the children, as the scripture says, and feeding it to the dogs, as it were. I mean that in the most respectful way as an analogy. But everybody is not here for the benefit of the people. Some people just want to profit at all others' expense. Okay, so it's time to make 2024, I'm thinking, will be and the rest of 2023 will become a defining moment as we go through this paradigm shift. It's time to separate the wolves from the sheep. I'm not rocking with everybody else anymore. I'm just not. I'm not rocking with anybody else. We have truth, we have fact, and it's backed up by law. And we will use those facts and that law to properly assert, without being perceived as a sovereign citizen or a belligerent to the United States. We will assert our proper status and standing, and we will have court orders that recognize the proper status and standing and the distinction between what is legal and what is lawful. And I will lead the way. Mine will be finished Monday. Monday will be my filing date. So I will lead the way with the results. If you're interested in joining, KnowledgeWell, the number 4, the letter U at gmail.com. Once the door closes on the arc, you will have to wait until the next go around. And I can't guarantee how long that will be, because I'm not letting anybody come in here and poison anything that we're doing, because we are going to accomplish. Mark my words. Otherwise, I'm closing it down. If I can't help, I'm definitely not going to hurt. If I can't add, I'm not taking away. Kimberly says everything is trust. It is. So that's what we should have been focusing on all along. We've been doing trust for quite a long time. We've done trust for people. We've had errors because of things that we have learned from listening to other people that basically tried to convince us of immunities. And if you're foreign, you're going to be immune from the state. Bullshit. There ain't no freaking do not detain as it pertains to a United States citizen. Remember, you are not the United States citizen per se, but you are in the way legally linked to the state through the citizen. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? So why would you be foreign? You have to be a member in order to play the game. Why would you want to be foreign to it? You waive all your stuff. Why would you want to do that when you have a seat at the game? Would you do that at a casino? Why the hell would you waste your time to go to the casino in the first place if you're going to claim that they don't have jurisdiction over you? Does that make sense? If they don't have jurisdiction over you, or you call their money in the casino illegitimate, then you kill your chances of winning or taking your winnings. Let's say you hit the jackpot at the casino. Then you go to the cashier's window with their fiat currency and tell them, you know what? This is all fake and phony. I don't recognize your government or your society. I'm out of here. Oh, you're going to walk away after you done hit the jackpot because you don't know or want to play the game? That's what some people are doing. You're calling yourself foreign to the game, but you're supposed to be a member taking advantage of the benefits and privileges. The liability was never on you in the first place. It's against the legal entity. You just had to know you're not the legal entity. I'm telling you, we got the sauce here at KnowledgeWell Media. Now it's time to apply it. If you're coming along, get on in. Once the door closes, that will be it for the next, until the next go around. If you're like me, I don't like wasting time. We've wasted enough. It's time to get going. BB Productions says 100. Okay. All right, BB Productions put the Patreon. There's the link. Carissa says, enjoy your day all. All right, you as well. Thank you for being here, Carissa. We always appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you over at the Patreon. Kimberly Miller asked, is it bankruptcy court? Is what bankruptcy court? Oh, the remedy? No, not necessarily. It's the instrumentality that we're afforded in law. I've been teaching on it for probably a couple of weeks now. It's the declaratory judgment. Roblox family says, not one size fits all. It can't. We're all individuals. Religion and different entities try to strip you of your individuality. And in a sense, when you become a member of the United States, you are stripped of some or most of your individual rights, because you are saying, I elect to become a member, and therefore I elect, or I agree to follow the policies and procedures. Therefore, you kind of waive some of your individual rights so that the government has relevance. Because if you call yourself a citizen, or let's say you call yourself a child of your mother or father, but yet you don't obey or follow their policies, procedures, rules, how's that going to work? Same thing. Okay, let's just bring it home, right? If you join Patreon, our Patreon, right? Well, we have certain rules. Don't disrespect others. Try to keep our information in-house so that we can keep it potent, and everybody ain't stealing and using it to their own profit, right? Being unjust. You know, the policy. So you kind of waive rights that you would ordinarily have or be at liberty to have. You see what I'm saying? So that's what citizenship is. Citizenship is merely membership. Each of us incorporated through our parents or whatever, we incorporated into the United States. And therefore we said, we'll play the game. Well, the game has rules. You go into the casino, doesn't it have rules? You follow the policies and procedures, everything. Any membership you join is going to have rules. We're not afraid of that. But you're not going to lump me in with the libelous, or I don't think that's the term, with the entity that is supposed to absorb all the liability. I'm supposed to have limited liability. That's the whole purpose of a corporation, is to provide the shareholders, the directors, et cetera, protection from being liable if the company is sued. Meaning you can't touch my personal assets, my house and my family and my car, just because I work for a corporation. No, you better sue that corporation. If I'm standing there working the register at McDonald's and the IRS comes in and say, McDonald's, you are tax delinquent. You owe us. You think me as the cash register operator at McDonald's is going to start going, oh God, we owe a lot of money? That makes sense? Hopefully it does. Hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down. Same way here. We're not supposed to be fretting because the entity owes taxes or is liable for something. We're supposed to know and be confident and legally competent at that we have limited liability. That is the only immunity that we have in the eyes of the law. You don't have immunity as a citizen to do whatever the heck I want to do. If I want to travel over there, I can. If I want to go there, I will. Public officers be damned. Johnny Cop, you can't talk to me. I'll roll my window up on you. Get away from me. Come on, man. You're in the legal order. This is a jural society. Everybody's playing a role in the play. You are mucking it up. You're messing it up because you don't even know that you're a real boy. You're not a fictional boy like Pinocchio. Well, the reverse of Pinocchio, whatever. So you're taking this crap personal and you're freaking messing up the whole show. Don't you hate that? Remember back in grade school, the teacher put together a nice Christmas play and you had that one idiot that just wouldn't stay with the script, picking his nose, crawling around, everybody, the audience laughing. We can't even get the doggone play over with because you ain't playing according to the script. We all know that this is a play, man. Just play the script. Quit taking it personal. Well, I don't want to be the one that dies in the play, so I'm going to mess up everybody else's role because I want to be the one that lives. I want to play the lead role. So you're going to mess up the whole show because you want the lead role part, but somebody else got it. So you're going to just act a fool, destroy the whole program. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? This is what your local guru is doing. Tearing the whole system up. It's just a play. The world is a stage. You have a persona. Learn how to use it and stop taking it personal. It's business. The United States is merely a place of business. It's a plantation. Get in or expatriate your happy ass out. Nobody's forcing you to play this game. There's beautiful islands you can go and visit. Quit stressing everybody else out. And stop disenfranchising my people and selling them hoop dreams. Because it ain't worked for you. How you selling to somebody else? Prove it worked for you. Come on over here. Prove it worked for you. Prove it worked for you. I see my numbers dipping. My viewership dipping. Gotcha. Come on over here. Bring your happy ass over here and prove it to me. Stop taking advantage of these people. Come and prove it to me. I'll tear a hole in that. You know what? But anyhow, I digress. Roblox family, thank you for the 777s. VV Production, thank you for the 777s. Roblox family, I'm coming. Listen to me. Y'all gurus, I'm going to give you. I'm going to start coming for y'all. I'm going to start exposing you. Why? Why? Because you're hurting people. Because you're getting enriched unjustly. I'm going to start coming for you. I'm going to start coming for you. I'm going to start exposing it. How you like that? Keep it up. I'm going to start exposing it. I don't care who you are. I'm going to start exposing you. Keep it up. You better get your stuff straight today. Because I'm going to start coming for you. And if you want to run, if I call you to a debate because you got a big mouth and you running your mouth and acting like you got something, if I call you to a debate and you don't come, I'm going to blast you all over the place. Now, that's what we're going to do. If we could pull together as like-minded individuals, we could build something substantial. There is a group in New Hampshire. There's a group in New Hampshire, I think you said, doing this and appointing individuals to government. Somebody give me a 777 and let me know you're still there. I had a phone call and then my radio went off. You said there's a group in New Hampshire doing this and appointing individuals to government. Are you talking about the assemblies or what are state assemblies? They're appointing people to government. It ain't gonna be recognized under the United States system. They don't have to. There is no there. You can't. I mean, that's an act of war. That's what that is. It's an act of war. You're illegitimizing the host government, the government that has colonized and has taken over because they had the bigger military, and you just can't do anything about it. You see what I'm saying? Thank you for the 777s. Okay, I guess I'm back. So I get what you're saying, Roblox. Just be very cautious and very careful. The state assembly, if that's who you're talking about, has been around for a long time. I've had their clients come and complain to me about things that they're doing. I've had a woman say that 2 men showed up at her house and she felt very uncomfortable. She was living in Florida somewhere, and she told me that that was a bad situation. She was like, she was very uncomfortable. The way that they operate, you know, kind of ambiguous and what have you. I've heard it. I've heard they're all in different 50 states. Now, I don't usually come for other platforms and whatever like that, but if it's doing damage to people, if it's hurting people, because of my platform and because of the calling I know that I have, I'm going to protect people. I'm just going to do that. If you're in my way when I'm protecting people, then collateral damage. But that's what it is. I don't care who you are. I'm so late in this game and I'm so sick of this stuff. I don't care who you are. If I come across you and you're putting out poison or misinformation or disinformation and you're being enriched by it, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. That's what time it is. Kimberly Miller, does public recording do the same thing? Okay, so what have we all heard? I'm sure if you've gotten denials for recording, I've gotten them for recording in the county recorders and all that kind of stuff. It's because they're going to ask you this: can you demonstrate in state statute where I have to accept that recording? Do you understand? Do you see what they're doing? Exactly what my claim is, backed by law. If you do not have a legally protectable interest, in other words, whatever you're trying to do or attempting to do in regards and relations to the United States and its legal order, have a statute. If you cannot find the statute, maybe it doesn't exist. And if it doesn't exist, then you don't have a legally protectable interest to try to do what it is you're trying to do. Does that make sense? I don't think I can say it much plainer than that. That's why we're having problems. Not because they're afraid of your filing or, oh my God, they're trying to get free. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. These people have to act in accordance with the law. That's why you're getting turned down. That's why I was getting turned down. These gurus want to make you believe, oh, it's because they're trying to keep you from freedom. You got something there because they're upset. They're trying to keep you all away from filing it. Don't you know that the United States has been around for at least 240 or so years? Don't you know that your state has been around since the 1800s and 1700s or whatever? Why would they be afraid? People have been doing this for a long time. Do you not know that Donald Trump has filed stuff in the recorders and stuff? He's a multi-million billionaire. They ain't afraid of your filing. You don't have any legally protected legally protectable interest. So they can't file it. They will get in trouble. You ever had a boss ride you because you have a policy to follow, and if you don't, you're going to be in trouble? Why do we think that they're any different? They can't just accept your recording because it's an affidavit and you put your thumbprint on it and put a picture and your whatever else. No, they're going to go. How many of them have taken the paper from you and go to a back room somewhere and ask somebody if they can file this? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? So does the public recording, you can't, Remember when I went over Minnesota Rule 220B? Minnesota Rule 220B talks about the register of titles and how they are authorized to receive certain documentation when it comes to you trying to make claim to property. That's the way it works. Read over Minnesota Rule 220B again, and you'll kind of see the way it's supposed to flow and the purpose for it. Okay, no, we need a court order. If you're talking about the remedy that we have here at KnowledgeWell Media, no, we need a court order. And they have to give it to us. Now, depending on your particular situation and how you screwed up or not screwed up, will determine as to whether or not you will be successful at it. But in law, they have to analyze and define your rights, your status, and your standing. By law. By law. That means you have a legally protectable interest. You see how it works? That's step number one. Not trying to claim the name, not trying to use a 1099 to avoid or evade taxes, not to establish a foreign trust. You have to fix your status first, because the system sees you currently as a ward of the state. And wards cannot properly administer or manage their estate. Therefore, they are called wards. Doesn't that just make sense? How are they going to recognize you as a financial institution using 1099 forms and banking principles and what have you, when they still consider, and it is a strong presumption, that you are a ward of the state? How do we know that you're a ward? Because the trust is still extant, meaning you still need somebody else, the public trustees, to administer your affairs for you. How the heck are you going to be playing with the big dogs like Trump and all them who pay $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to retain an attorney who knows this stuff? What do you have? How are you going to sit at the same table? That's all I'm saying. I know I'm passionate about it. I'm not trying to be condescending to my people here. This is a wake-up call to all y'all gurus out there that think y'all really doing something, but you're not. Yeah, I can speak that way. Why? Because I was a victim of some of y'all. That's why. Yeah. Enough is enough. I see my numbers dipping again. Caught another one of y'all. Yeah. You come here, you know what time it is. I'm coming for you. I'm gonna find you. I'll see you. I'll see you. Roblox family says, open a mentorship. I'm willing to learn and work with you in the future. I want to help my people. I mean, like I said, I mean, you're not able to get over to Patreon. Is that what you're saying? Because that's where I'm gonna be doing my thing until something else comes along. You're more than welcome to come over there. Patreon.com. Look in the comment section here for the link, but BB Productions was put it in earlier for Patreon. BB Productions says 777. Roblox family says 777. And Free Staters. That should tell you everything right there. Look at the name. Look at the name. That should tell you who they are and what their ideology is. How do you think let me ask you a question. How do you think the U.S. is going to look at them? All right, with that being said, we've been on for an hour and 59 minutes. It's time for me to move on down, ease on down the road. You gurus, I'm coming for you. You, if you're unjustly enriching yourself at the peril of the people, I'm coming for you. If you don't show up to my debate, you're going to discredit your own self. Okay? But we're going to put a stop to that misinformation, disinformation crap. I don't care who you are. Okay? Just saying. Clean it up. Clean it up. All right. Robot. Oh, you're on Patreon? Okay, very good. We'll see you over there then. We're going to be starting, kick that off. All I need is five participants to add to our family as it stands. And once I get that 5, then we're going to start at a And don't worry, you're not just going to be sitting there being taught. It's time to apply. Okay. So therefore, each and every one of us is going to be like we're at craft school, I'll say, right? Where everybody is cutting and gluing things together, and the teacher's walking from table to table and making sure that they've got it right and all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm proposing. It's not just going to be a captive audience and I'm just, talking, because it's time to do. And that's what I'm proposing here. Yeah, you, guru, don't get mad. I'm coming for you. Don't get mad. I'm gonna get you. All right, with that being said, I'm gonna get on off of here now. Love you all. Thank you for your support. Let somebody else know. Let some other guru know. Yeah, better stay out. Better stay clear of these airwaves, because I'm gonna call you out. You spewing poison and trying to enrich yourself off of it, I'm coming for you. Just know that. All right. With that being said, I love you all. And now you've been made free. The question is, what are you going to do with it? If you, again, want to join us, be part of the team, and actually make things happen, KnowledgeWell, the number 4, the letter U at gmail.com. Love you all. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.
Start your journey today by liking, subscribing, and sharing our YouTube channel, KnowledgeWell Media, or by going to our Square site at knowledgewell-media.square.site and perusing over the available content and information. Also by submitting your email at the bottom of the Square site page in the Stay in the Loop section to receive priority information, specials, and other insider details. Or by signing up for a 1-hour consultation to tailor your specific educational needs in beginning your journey. You may do so at the aforementioned Square site, once again at knowledgewell-media.square.site.